Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
Your cult fractured our people. Where were you then?
So we finally got a proper and official trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3, and there's a lot to talk about here. The trailer was revealed at the D23 Expo on September 10th. D23 is the official Disney fan club, and this biannual exposition event is the main thing that they're known for. So this trailer starts with some flashbacks from season 1 and 2, kind of to catch us up a little bit on what happened, which makes sense. It's been kind of a long time since we've seen these characters because of the break in between the seasons. We also got some flashbacks to the Book of Boba Fett, which is kind of important here because the Book of Boba Fett almost took a break for 2 episodes to kind of go into Mando's story for a little bit, which for those people who didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett or didn't make it to those 2 episodes, there was a lot that happened that's going to impact Season 3. One, Baby Yoda and Mando are back together. That's a big one, considering Season 2 ended on Luke Skywalker taking Baby Yoda away to be trained. That's a very big point that if you're not familiar with what happened in the Book of Boba Fett, you may be confused going from Season 2 of The Mandalorian to Season 3, why Baby Yoda is back in the picture. The other thing that happened in the Book of Boba Fett is that the Mandalorian is no longer a Mandalorian, or Din Djarin is no longer a Mandalorian, which is obviously very important because of him taking off his helmet out of necessity during his time protecting Baby Yoda. That was found out by his clan, and he was kind of excommunicated from the clan. So both those really, really big plot points happen in an entirely different show, and this trailer kind of caught us up on that a little bit, which I think is really important because it could be very confusing for some fans who may not know that has happened, just going from Season 2 to Season 3. So yeah, those things are changed, and that's going to be important in Season 3. So this was foreshadowed in Season 2, and there's been rumors about this kind of coming out as a Season 3 was in development, but apparently the main plot of the season is going to be about reclaiming Mandalore. And trailer doesn't say that outright, but kind of just looking at it kind of looks like that's going to be a piece of it. But another piece of the show that the trailer definitely more explicitly talked about is there seems to be a conflict arising between Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian, which presumably goes back to when he was able to get the Darksaber in combat, even though she wanted it. Djarin tried to give it to her, but she wouldn't take it because she believes that it needs to be won in combat, and breaking these kind of standards of rules and tradition is what caused Mandalore to fall in the first place, so she's trying to play it safe and abide by these rules and traditions. So I think that's going to be a center piece of the conflict. It might be the entire conflict. Well, while on the one side you're going to have Djarin and his friends trying to reclaim Mandalore, I think Bo-Katan is going to have a similar goal. She obviously would want to reclaim Mandalore, but I think she's going to be a bit of an antagonistic force along the way, not wanting planet to fall into his hands, or her wanting to be the true leader or whatever. But we'll see where that goes. But it's very interesting, and I think that's going to be the 2 main plots of the season. 1, reclaiming Mandalore, and 2, this conflict between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan. Her quote in the trailer was something along the lines of, "Your cult fractured our people," obviously referring to kind of what was happening in the Clone Wars, and then what happened in between the Clone Wars and the original trilogy, and how the Empire basically tried to take over Mandalore like they did every other planet, but because the Mandalorian people are very tough, they fought back, and they essentially nuked the entire planet, salted the earth basically, and made it unlivable. So the Mandalorian people have gone through a lot, and I think that it sounds like Bo-Katan is blaming Din Djarin's clan for that. Should be interesting, though. That's kind of my guess on what the main plot's going to be. The 2 main A and B plots are going to be, but we'll see. The trailer also had a bunch of action shots, which were fun to see. And then the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda back together, which is obviously always nice to see him kind of being a dad figure. They do like this flip in his new aircraft, which another plot point from the Book of Boba Fett that people might be surprised about. He has a new aircraft now, but him kind of acting like a father figure as he's doing this flip, holding Baby Yoda up, and Baby Yoda looking at the kind of light speed tunnel that they're traveling through, and real fun stuff. Even though it looks like this season's going to be very serious, it's going to be a lot of action and stuff like that, it wouldn't be a Mandalorian season if you didn't take a little bit of a break from that action and actually show Din Djarin being a fatherly figure to Baby Yoda. So that was nice to see. Then the trailer obviously ended with the announcement that it's going to be streaming in 2023, and we kind of already knew that already. I don't think there's been a confirmed release date for the first episode, but I've heard rumors that it's going to be early 2023, maybe in first quarter, which would be nice because we've been waiting a very long time for this season to come out, and it will be very nice if that does end up being the case. But we'll have to see. This is the first official proper trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3, so that's really cool. We've had leaks in the past of some trailers shown at other conferences that were exclusive to the people in attendance. A big trailer leak was July 12th. Even though there was a few shots that seemed familiar, I don't think this is the same trailer at all. Just a couple similar shots have been put into this trailer, but I believe it's a completely separate one, so I don't think anyone, including in these former conventions, have seen this trailer yet. So that's kind of cool that this is a kind of a fresh new look. And with how many people apparently saw the leaked trailer, that's probably the better way to do it, because people want to see new things and stuff. We saw what's going to be the return of some old characters that we became familiar with in the early seasons. Obviously Bo-Katan seems to be a big part of that, and she was introduced in season 2, and for people who've seen the Clone Wars, she's a character that goes way back in Star Wars. So it's going to be cool to see her again. We see Carl Weathers coming back, which is cool. He seems to be really settling into his local leadership role pretty nicely, and that's fun to see. Didn't show it in the trailer, but I imagine we're going to get those 2 X-Wing pilots again at some point. But yeah, we saw a bunch of characters that obviously we've already seen before, and then we kind of actually knew this because this was reported that people saw him in the leaked trail, but Boba Frick we've seen him officially now. He's been officially announced, and that's cool. Boba Frick is someone who hasn't been in The Mandalorian before, but was in the Rise of Skywalker, which is obviously the final movie in the sequel trilogy. I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy, but it's fun to see where these smaller role characters may end up. So we'll see what his role is, but if his role is anything like what it was in The Rise of Skywalker, obviously he's going to be doing some repairs or some robotics work or something like that. But he's in it. For how long, we don't know, but he's in it. And that's pretty much what we know from this, what kind of led up to this, and it's going to be really cool to see how this season shapes up. But so far, season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian have been really fun. Obviously, it's Disney Star Wars, so anything bad can happen, but so far The Mandalorian has been on a really good road. Can't wait to see what happens next. Alright, well, thank you everyone for joining me. I appreciate it.